Hey guys, my name is Bryce. Today I'll be doing a video that's kind of a special one. It's of course about LEGO, but today's feature is a double feature of Star Wars featuring... Oh, that's not how I planned to have this go. Featuring Jyn Erso and my most favorite robot at the moment in Star Wars, K2SO. Now, I got these for Force Friday, and I figured I'd share this with you guys, starting with Jyn. Okay, so now that the color balance is better, so just to give you a quick tour of the box, essentially the feature is that she has both a blaster that's working with kind of one of those spring-powered blasters. She has some tomfas, I believe, and she actually has a working gearbox within her, much like Bionicle, if you're familiar with that line of toys, which I go on and on about. Oh, so this is the first thing I was expecting to see. Anyway, is the very special mold of Jyn Erso. Certainly with toys it's difficult to go into uncanny valley of like how realistic it is. So it's all one piece actually, and give you a better close-up of it. Here we are, and I'm actually quite impressed with her. There's so much detail in like the bun of her hair. There we go, that's a bit more realistic. So yeah, pretty much true to the existence right now. You can see she actually has green eyes, and she's even got like little eyelash details. It's definitely not lifelike, but I kind of appreciate it more. It's somewhat cartoony, but once we have this off, it's actually not an uncanny valley. It's actually quite a nice representation. So now that we're done admiring the head, let's get to the actual build. So instructions here in the back have like a parts count list, all the sets for minifigures, and this kind of a series, and we can even see the perfect pair right here in action. So hopefully we can get this pretty much replicated with this set I'll put together. Now this is actually my first Star Wars construction set I've ever actually got, so it'll be interesting. I'll be kind of going over the new pieces just because as well for me this is kind of my first time interacting with part of them. Obviously most of it's familiar, but there's a few that stand out to me already. loaded. We're going to put this on here, going to adjust the camera for height, and pièce de résistance, literally. And then we have Jyn, fully armed, and ready to fight for the rebellion. Pretty much, she is entirely ready for both long range with her even scope-enabled blaster. You can see there's like a little targeting scope and everything. She's got a stock that looks like it can extend. It can't, unfortunately, but this means it's a lot more steady this way. She's got one bolt, like a laser bolt, literally in bolt form, that's ready and loaded in here, as well as one extra, which you can easily just take out. And then to fire, you actually press the scope down and fire, and then your backup one is just ready to be loaded again. So it's actually quite nice. The way that you activate it means that even though there's a little bit wobbly and everything for play, it's next to something you can just ignore. And on the plus side, it's so easy to quickly fire and then, you know, just reload it and everything. So I'll retrieve that, and then for these can actually be spun around, and demonstrate first with one, then take the blaster off, add the second one, see if we can even store the blaster on her back. Yes, so that's doable as well, which is nice. Essentially, she can have her arms kind of wave up and down, and I just literally got this out of the box, so I'm not going to be very well rehearsed with it, but effectively, actually if you get this out of the way, you'll have better results. You can fling these around. Yeah, it actually works pretty well. So from the front, say if you've gotten way too close to Jyn and she needs to tell you to back up a bit, this is kind of what you're up against. Something like this actually works quite well for me being such an amateur with any kind of puppetry, so that's great news. And of course you get like a few extra sort of backup pieces that LEGO always includes. Unfortunately, I was able to retrieve these, and once again, to recharge your blaster, all you do is simply insert it. Gives it a nice satisfying click, and then you can also just load the backup bolt just on the side. The gear on the back is exposed and whatnot. This piece here is only here in order to sort of induce a bit more friction. I would say that the piece use and everything, I'm surprised that, you know, these old Bionicle, well, not even that old, these Generation 2 Bionicle pieces are used for the fact that they have these cavities here as opposed to just having a sort of streamlined piece. I'm glad they kept these, even though it's, you know, I guess kind of doesn't really fit with the costumes of the movie. I'm glad it still isn't like introducing new parts that are entirely devoid of any kind of LEGO connection. In this case, it'll be just with these sort of pins here. I think it's just good mainly just to reintroduce into your LEGO collection if you choose not to keep these in their full sets, which, I don't know, I think I might keep these just because they're fantastic figures. I'll remix even sets that I'm very fond of, but it's really cool to see such a great, you know, proportion for a humanoid figure like this. The thigh plates are something that are new to me, which they're massive, but they also need to be, considering, you know, if you kind of stand her up straight and everything, it's pretty reasonable, I'd say, for having a humanoid figure of something that used to be literally just representing robots or biomechanical kind of creatures. In terms of the back plate and everything, that's seemingly new for this line, but I'll say I'm a fan of it. It's really nice just to kind of close off all the gears except for the very top, where you can kind of get a sense of where it is. And I mean, really, it's got a moving component to it. You really can't cover up too much without compromising this. There's a huge range of motion though, which is nice as a result of leaving it a little bit more open. But if we are actually to open up and see inside, there's really nowhere that you could really introduce, I would say, any kind of friction point, other than potentially adding another one of these rounded gears here with a friction adder, and that's kind of the only thing I really change about this in order to maybe kind of recess this in a little bit further. But As a cost, I think you would end up having just a harder time actually manipulating this unless it's a little bit outside of the back. So if you really do want to modify this to be a lot more sleek and everything, there's certainly a lot of easy ways you can do that. So I wouldn't worry about that too much if you want to have this just for display. But for play stuff though, oh my gosh, this set has so much going for it. He's an awesome character in the Star Wars universe, and her LEGO form is certainly reflective of that. So yeah, go out and I would definitely give it a thumbs up and recommend it for you guys.